From the pages of Mobile Electronics Magazine, introducing the Mobile Electronics Show, the industry's #1 resource, featuring the latest industry news, the hottest trends, and the people that make it work. Now, here's your host, Chris Cook.
Welcome to the Mobile Electronics Show, our first ever. I'm your host, Chris Cook, president of the Mobile Electronics Association. Let me tell you a little bit about what this show is all about. It's about the mobile electronics industry, played out from the pages of the industry's #1 resource, Mobile Electronics Magazine. Think of it as bringing the stories from the pages to life. Each show will feature interviews with guests from different sections of the magazine. One of the many sections in the magazine is stats, and stats for May was very relevant and was collected from our industry. This month, we revealed the industry is up nearly 33% first quarter for 21 over 20. That coming off over 15% growth for 2020 as compared to 2019. That, my friends, is an important section in the magazine. And hey, speaking of the magazine, we're looking forward to seeing you and even interviewing some of you at our Knowledge Fest Orlando. Great time for an industry to take a vacation, coming up June 25th through the 27th. Hey, and a special thank you and shout out to Sony for sponsoring the first Mobile Electronics Show. And our first guest, Mike Rundel, Sony 2020 Sales Rep of the Year. Mike, how you doing today?
Hey, Chris, doing great. Thanks so much for having me. Glad to be here.
Oh, fantastic. I got about 30 questions for you. We'll get these done in about a minute.
For sure.
So, one of the things I like to ask is, how does it feel to be the top sales rep in the industry? That's got to be some pressure. How's that feel to you?
It is. It's actually a really good feeling. I'm extremely and unbelievably honored to have been chosen for this award. I've been in the industry for over 30 years. I've worn many hats, and to be recognized and nominated for 3 years in a row and finally achieving the goal truly was a real honor.
So there was a lot of prep to this. You didn't just raise your hand and they threw you in the ring, right? You had to do some things for this. What was the process like for you?
I think a lot of it is relationship building. I've built relationships all over the country with a lot of stores, with distributors and things like that. I'm always open to suggestions from them and giving them advice as well. And I think it really boils down to having these relationships all over the place that helped nail it for me. Well,
and nail it you did. And we're certainly proud of you as an industry. And we thank you for holding the Stanner banner this year. And, soon you're going to be passing this off come Dallas. We're going to do this again. And, well, I'm sure you'd like to win it another year. There's somebody right on your heels looking to become the best.
I like a challenge.
Going back, so you work with the Sony Corporation, and I know Sony just had a significant announcement last week about Mobile ES. Hey, I remember Mobile ES back from when I was a retailer, and it's great to see it back. Congratulations on bringing this back to the industry. Hey, I can tell you, we really appreciate it.
My team is so excited about that.
So tell us a little bit about Mobile ES.
It is the elevated standard of car audio.
That's what I wanted to know. What is Mobile ES? And you just said it, an elevated standard, and that is the word for the day. So that elevated standard is what Mike represents. But you know what? You do such a great job selling and supporting your dealers as a company. And you've won multiple awards for that at the Mobile Electronics Magazine Awards, even the Vendor of the Year most recently. So tell me, how do you accomplish such great support that everybody's raving about?
I think a lot of it is the accessibility to our entire team. We're a very small team, and everybody knows us. We have our tech support that our team mans. We have our Facebook page, which again, our team mans. We leave our business cards with all of our dealers, which have our personal cell phones. And anyone can contact us or via phone or email at any time. And I think that dealers really appreciate that they can lean on us when they really need to.
Yeah, I hear words like going the extra mile, honest, brutal honesty, just letting us know what we need to know and taking care of us when we need to support a customer. These are things that I've seen on Facebook groups all over, and congratulations for doing such a great job supporting our industry. We really appreciate it. And, we really appreciate Sony sponsoring our first. But you know what, Mike, talk about you for a minute. Sure. I want to know what kind of advice, after going through everything that you did, you would give to other sales reps out there that would like to achieve the same award that you achieved.
Chris, is a lot. I'll keep it brief, but I know when I think back to when I had my store, and I looked at how reps treated me, I tried to model myself after some of those guys. And I think the biggest thing you can do is, never make promises you can't keep. Be brutally honest when you have to be. Own up to your mistakes, and don't be afraid to ask for that sale.
Yeah, never be afraid to ask for the sale. Not only not be afraid, but make sure you ask for the sale. Because chances are, if you don't ask for it, you're what? Never gonna get it.
That's true.
Well, Mike, I appreciate you coming on and telling us a little bit. I wish I could sit here for the rest of the day and talk to you and pick your brain, and I'm sure others would as well. But I thank you and Sony for sponsoring our first mobile electronics show. We look for many more in years to come. Thank you, sir.
Thanks so much, Chris. Appreciate it.
2020 Mobile Electronics Salesperson of the Year, Jason Kranitz. That's who I'm interviewing now, and that kicks off the show. I'm telling you, this is somebody that I've known in the industry for quite some time. I remember when he first started his first store, when he first started Kingpin, and I've watched his career grow year over year over year. And I'm very excited to bring Jason on and talk to him about what it means to be the Salesperson of the Year. Hey, Jason.
Hey, how's it going, Chris?
The first thing I got to ask you, you've had a few of the years in the past. What have you won in the past, by the way?
I've been retailer of the year, single store twice, runner up once, in star of the year. We won best customer experience, and then this year sales pro of the year.
So we had another award. You figured you'd go ahead and make it a hat trick. I get it.
Yeah, exactly it.
Well, fantastic. So, you've been through this before, but, the excitement never ends. How does it feel to be the top sales professional in the industry?
It actually feels pretty special, and it couldn't have happened at a better year. I've entered into it, I think 2 years so far. I can't remember the things for Sales Pro. And this year was really special for me. It was kind of it kind of all came together being during COVID and everything, because as you well know, I'm a little controversial on how I run my business, and I've actually been made fun of for some of the things I do at K-Fest, and people are talking, and you get in these groups, and they can't believe I do digital consults and unlock showroom. I mean, remember 5 years ago when I came up with that concept, and you actually had a buzz to come in, and there's a lot of people that really put me down for that. And this year was really kind of neat, because when COVID hit, I fielded so many phone calls from retailers, and I was more than happy to help them learn what that success looks like with having to lock that showroom and not being able to talk to customers. So only via digital over the phone or digital consultations.
Yeah, I hear you're a little tough to work for. So, I know that you'd probably fire me as well.
I wouldn't fire you for no.
So tell me, Kingpin Car and Marine Audio.
Yes.
How many years of experience do you have, and how long have you been in business?
Let's see. I've been in the industry now. I'm working on my 29th year, I believe, or 30th year. It's one of the two.
Okay, so you're new. Got it.
I'm new. I'm a little old and crusty. I started Kingpin Car Marine Audio on my own back in 2006. So we're rolling there. And 6 years ago, we started Kingpin University. So I've been around the block a little bit, for sure.
Yep, I remember meeting you at a Knowledge Fest of Old one year.
Yes.
Hanging out, chat with you right after you kind of kicked off Kingpin.
Yeah, definitely. It was an exciting time. It was awesome to come to the show. I learned so much that first year. I was so fish out of the water, and it was just so empowering to sit in classes and be able to ask questions and not feel, ridiculed to ask a question that I didn't understand and how to become better. And it was very, Knowledge Fest has been life-changing for me, and that's what's awesome about now. I've been teaching is being able to give back for sure at those events.
Well, when it comes to your store, though, you left Washington and pardon the pun, took a gamble on Las Vegas.
Yeah,
what made you want to make that move?
Yeah, Wilsonville, Oregon. Yeah. it was very interesting. We made a decision to move. It was hard to leave a business that was doing so well at a very high profit rate to leave Portland, Oregon, in the suburbs there to come. But we wanted to grow the school. Our lease was up. The landlord wanted way too much money. We had actually done everything like we do every business thing. We sat down, my wife and I, and then looked at everything. And then before we make and sign to another 5-year lease, we always try to do the business thing where I take emotions aside, pros and cons list, and say, hey, what makes the most sense? Should I go work for a manufacturer? I could become a rep, and just kind of re-explore options out there of what you can do. And we got to the point where I said, hey, we need to look outside the scope of Portland too. And that's when my wife said, I don't want to live in Oregon anymore. So it was pretty easy to so that was a flip the page real quick and then figure out, hey, what city makes the best? Now I can concentrate and just do the school with a smaller amount of retail. So that was kind of the thing that happened. And then once we got here, we were doing retail. Then obviously when COVID hit, we really went full swing into retail because obviously we couldn't have classes anymore.
Yeah, that was tough for all of us, even for our education platform for Knowledge Fest.
Mm-hmm.
So So my faux pas, Washington. Well, I meant South Washington. So that's Oregon,
it's the same thing. It's all wet. It's just all wet.
Yeah. So describe your sales technique and strategy. What's unique about Jason?
I'd say it's just our procedures and our processes. We're very transparent when the client comes in through the door. All the way from the start is you can't come in through the door without a consultation, which freaks some people out. Some people really love it right away. Other ones, it's kind of unsure because it's so unusual. Until they go through the process, then they absolutely love it and they tell everybody about it. And that's how we were able to grow. Because you got to remember, we really pushed retail. COVID hit down here. So that means it was March 17th. So we're the second city to shut down in the United States. And here I am in a new town that really hasn't established myself as a retailer yet. Now I got to be able to do that and go full tilt into retail. And I can't go visit anybody. I can't visit car dealerships. I can't go to car meets. I can't do all the guerrilla marketing things. All I got is social media. So that was definitely a difference, but it was no big deal because I had the magic formula anyway. So I have no fear over that one. But when a client comes to the store, they've got a consultation. The first thing that we do is we walk them around and we show what Kingpin is all about. Mm-hmm. All the little things that we take for granted that makes a big difference to the client themselves before we even get into their projects. And then once we're into the projects, we're selling them on the experience and what I call the Kingpin sound and the Kingpin way. We really don't talk about manufacturers' products too much, and then we build and design a system. So it's definitely much more of a one-on-one boutique feel for the client when they come in the door, where they feel special. We turn down the ringers on the phones so they don't get interrupted. They get to introduce to the staff, and they get to see the inner workings of the business, which I think is probably the key to it all.
Yeah, the demo of your business and getting them comfortable with you, building that relationship. I know those are keys to your success. But and those are. But tell me about someone that helped you with lessons or experiences that positively influenced your performance over the years.
Well, there's several people, and you get bits and nuggets from everybody, and you learn those ones. But probably the biggest person that's influenced my sales in my life has been my dad. My dad was, he grew up a little differently back in the old school ways. He was raising a family, had 2 jobs, goes to school he's working a company, becomes an engineer. And then they had a shortage of stuff. So my dad stepped in and helped out on a sale. And then he got in basically in that company out of the engineering of microwave towers and started going on the road selling. And then all the way to construction management, but was still selling at the same time, took on 2 roles with that company. Been with that company, I believe, 35 years before he started his own company. My dad told me some valuable things about sales, but the number one thing he told me, if you're not making a profit doing it, then don't do it. Walk away from that sale. I think that's probably stuck with me the more. And I probably really emphasize on that. If it's not worth me doing to make enough profit dollars, I just won't touch it. So, But he's also told me a lot of it is just being true and honest and be able to listen to your customers and be able to go out and see them and be there at all times for them, even when they're not buying. Make sure that you have that after the sale touch, during the sale touch, and then the repeatable follow-up through and reach out to your clients, because your repeat clients is what makes you.
Yeah, most definitely. So, you're the business owner, but I'll ask, how would your coworkers describe you?
Procedures. Right? We have a very specific way of doing things, and I'm very stickler about that. because at the end of the day, it's all about the team. It's not about one person here. It's about the Kingpin experience, and that's what we sell. So it's definitely procedures. That's what they would say.
Yeah, procedures. And one of those procedures I know is some somewhat frequent trips to Morton's when you get a chance with your team.
Yes, you always have
so
to celebrate.
There's rewards too.
Exactly. Medium rare plus. That's the cooking temperature at Morton's.
Yeah. So what's the biggest challenge, either personal or professional, that you've had to overcome in the past year? That's a pretty open question with what all of us have experienced.
It is and it isn't. I think, I mean, the challenge, obviously, like I mentioned before, was starting, full tilt retail when there was nothing to go out and see people. But all it does is just sparks that other things that we've been doing. Like we've been doing digital consultations for over 3 years. So if somebody didn't want to come in for a consultation, I would offer them. Back then it was Skype. Now I have Zoom. So Zoom, everybody knows Zoom. And a lot of people didn't want to take you up on that because it was so crazy, weird technology never used before. And then, COVID put that forefront. Now we had Zoom to our capabilities. I'd say the biggest challenge was picking up and delivering cars. We offered that service so we could keep everybody safe, including our staff members. Mm-hmm. And that slowed down the process a little bit. And then being able to demo. We did a lot of store demos. What we ended up doing, if we didn't do it over Zoom, what I would do is make a video like they were there. So I think that was the biggest challenge. I was trying to do a video to show them how their stuff works, which has actually ended up being very successful too, by the way. A lot of clients like that. And when you do your follow-up phone calls a week or two later, see how they like and everything, they thank you over and over again. Like, that was the greatest. I was able to go back and review it a couple different times. So I'd say that was the biggest challenge.
So when you look at the sales experience, what do you want your customers to remember about their sales experience specifically with you?
I think the professionalism, we get that a lot. Like, we're very professional. They're very comfortable. One of the reputations that we had in Oregon from around the community was, hey, they're a little bit more money, but they're well worth it. And that's kind of the reputation I want here. Like, hey, it might cost you a little bit more to get it done right, but they're totally well worth it. That's the place to go. And this is a perfect town for that. A lot of people don't understand, like, this town is really based off of who you know and what you know. And everybody's got a guy. So I want to be that guy. I want to be everybody's guy. I want to be everybody's stereo guy.
So yeah, and that's a big thing. It really goes into our next question. So how does your performance influence your team and your store culture?
I think what store culture is me following through, being able to showcase. Even though I'm the owner, I'm up on the sales floor right now. That's my position in the company as a full-time position right now until we get some other staff on board, which we're constantly working on. And it shows them that, hey, I follow these procedures. I just don't mouth it. I just don't say it. You and I both well know there's a lot of guys that act like they do certain things in our industry. They do them day in, day out, and they don't. So I lead by example and show them, hey, that this is the reason why that we do it this way, and this is what the pitch we're selling to the clients, which is making them purchase it. But they're seeing me do that day in and day out to reinsure that those procedures are there for a reason.
Yeah, very good, very good. So thinking about the folks that will win the award after you, or that will win an award. Yes. Since you've won each one of these top awards over the years, what advice would you give someone looking to achieve Sales Professional Award, or really any of the awards? You've been involved in the awards process for some time. You've also been a judge at times as well.
I have been a judge. And
so, speaking frankly, as a judge, you see a lot of, you were able to see a lot of submissions in years you weren't competing. What advice would you give to those that want to achieve one of the awards?
I would say, there's several key things. And I get this question. I usually get a call when somebody makes the top 12. I'll get some calls when the awards start, and then about the top 12, I'll get somebody to reach out a couple weeks before it's due, and it's already too late at that point, right? This is something you need to be working on right now. So we've got our sights on some awards this year ourselves, and so I've been working continuously on that through the process. The number one thing that I think people miss, and this comes from a judging standpoint, is to make sure that you thoroughly, if I could put words across here, thoroughly answer each and every question like your life depended on it. As a judge, I've seen some people that I haven't won because it comes down, when you make the top 12, this is the way I view it as a judge, right? So let's talk as me as being a judge. You look at the top 12, you skim all the videos, and then you start the judging process. We have our criteria that we judge on. I look at the top 12 as everybody's equal. So it's yours to lose at that point. And that's the way you got to look at it when you're submitting everything. And a lot of them comes down to the scores are tight, and a lot of them comes down to is somebody just breezed over one question or one section and didn't get full detail, and that's what they lost it on. They could have been the champion, but they lost it because of that. So be very thorough and answer those questions, but don't start till the last second and rush it through. Right. And I would also say to anybody that's out there is if you're going to rush through it, and our shops are busy, and I understand completely, you have to make time for it. So if you're in the top 12 and it gets down the nitty gritty and you're going to rush through it and you're like, it's going to land where it's land, then give up that spot to one of the alternatives that are hungry for it. That's what I would say in spirit. That'd be good.
Yeah. And I understand that completely. It's nothing more heartbreaking than seeing somebody that, 9 out of 10 things are answered correctly. And, if he just finished that one piece, that had done it. And right. I think, some of others that I've spoke with that have won have said the key thing, whether I thought I was going to win or whether I thought I wouldn't win, I put everything I had within me into it, and I left it there. And I made sure that I didn't turn in 50% or 70%. I gave every bit I had, and I showed everybody who I was and let the judges see and make their decisions. So very good advice, Jason. And I appreciate you sharing that with us. I appreciate you coming on today. Jason Kranitz, owner, founder of Kingpin Car and Marine Audio, and also Kingpin University, and a frequent Knowledge Fest presenter. And I look forward to seeing you in Orlando, June 25th through 27th. I know you're speaking on a couple of topics. Jason Kranitz, again, thank you. Our 2020 Mobile Electronics Salesperson of the Year. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you very much. See everybody in Orlando. Don't forget to go.
This is an exciting interview today. Devine Concepts and Cartoons. What do they have in common? 2020 Retailers of the Year. And today we have Adam Devine and Kimberly Trainer. Adam of Devine Concepts, Kimberly Trainer of Cartoons. And I'm excited to find out about their experience with the Mobile Electronics Industry Awards. So today on the Mobile Electronics Show, I would like to welcome both Adam and Kimberly. Hey, welcome.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Hey, Adam.
Hey, glad you guys can take a few minutes out of the shop. I know you don't get time for lunch, but at least you get time for us.
Absolutely.
But there are lots of folks out there who would like to know what you went through to become Retailers of the Year. And, Kimberly, I'm going to start with you. Tell me, how does it feel to be the Retailer of the Year?
Well, absolutely amazing. I'm sure Adam feels the same way. It's an honor to be chosen, for doing something that we love doing every single day anyway. Kind of unique this year with us not having a banquet in Dallas to go to, and meet with everyone there. I was literally sitting on my couch in my bathrobe when you announced our store name. So a little bit weird. My phone started going off. My first message was from Nalika from Focal, congratulating us. And I can't even tell you just overwhelming the response and the support from so many great people in our industry.
No, that's great to hear. And we certainly congratulate you and Adam as well. So Adam, tell us, how did it feel? You worked hard for this as well.
It was absolutely surreal. Just like Kimberly said, a little different being at home. And then, I'm watching there with my family, and to see our acceptance video pop up, just blew my mind. I pulled it's not recorded, but I pulled a Justin Kush moment and was up yelling and screaming and dancing all around. So I should have probably had that recorded, but it just blows my mind. I'm extremely humbled by it. And it's validation that, all the years of hard work are not for nothing. Not that they'd be for nothing, but the fact that it's substantiation and validation that, we're on the right path of moving forward and expanding our culture and our brand.
Well, Adam, I'll ask you a little bit about culture, both of you, a little later. But let me just for our audience members, can you tell us how long you've been in business and the number of employees that you have?
So I've been in the industry now for 21 years professionally. My own personal business, 3 years, or a little over 3 years now, and I have one apprentice at the moment. We're expanding pretty rapidly. I'm looking to hire another technician if I can get him down from Boston, as well as we're looking to double our square footage. We're getting ready to expand and grab the unit right beside us, tear down some walls, and go from more of a boutique 1,600 square feet to 3,200 square feet with multiple bays. So excited.
So at 3,200 square feet, you would be doubling your size.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm a math genius, I'm telling you. So Kimberly, how long have you been in business, and what are your number of employees? A little bit about your business.
Okay, so Cartoons has been at this same location since 1984.
Wow.
So 37 years. Yeah, it's a long time.
Well, certainly you weren't there when it started.
No. So I came on the scene in about 2001, so 20 years ago. And it seems like a long time, but at the same time, it seems like it's gone by very quickly. I think when you have that pattern, like Adam was mentioning, just that constant growth, you're always looking for the next expansion, the next idea, the next great thing. Sometimes it's square footage, sometimes it's something different altogether, but it keeps everything in motion and continually going forward. So on a daily basis, we typically have 4 of us that run everything. So small but efficient, that's kind of our goal. We all work together, teamwork. We're pretty unique compared to some of the other typical, businesses in the mobile electronics industry. But I think that's kind of what makes us stand out, Cartoons and of course, Devine Concepts also. We kind of have more of that, specialty uniqueness about us.
Well, that's a good segue into the next question. Tell me about your business philosophy and what is your mission statement?
Well, I kind of sat down and thought about that for just a minute because those two things can kind of intertwine a little bit. Obviously, our main philosophy really is just always to be honest. We want to be upfront and honest with all of our customers, all of our vendors, everybody at all times, because honesty is the best policy. Even if you have to deliver bad news, if you're honest about it, it makes everything go way smoother. And obviously to, really just deliver a unique experience to our customers. When they come in, we really want to roll the red carpet out for them and just kind of blow them away. So when they leave, they're like, wow, that really sticks with them. That's an experience not like when they walk into any other store or business that they're going to.
Yeah, it sounds like you leave your customers with a great memory, and an understanding that you really care about them and that they're unique.
Yes, definitely. And really, showing respect and attention to each individual person, it makes the transaction and the sales process totally different. It really does. Having that personal touch. Being in the South, we're a lot more free and open and welcoming, than some other places. And so that really leans towards our market and our area, and people respond really well to that.
And Kimberly, good reminder for your host. I mean, not everybody knows. Where are you located?
So we're in Greenville, Mississippi, right on the Mississippi River. We're basically where Arkansas meets Mississippi. Louisiana is only maybe 15 minutes away. So we're kind of pulling from lots of different demographics there. And it has always worked really, really well for us. I've always felt like our location is great. Even though we are in a very rural area, we really get to pull from so many different cities all around us that have different needs. So we have a lot of water around us, a lot of lakes. We have a lot of farmers, so a lot of agriculture and all of that. So it just lends towards all of the different things that we can provide to our customers. And on a daily basis, I think people drive realistically probably even 2 to 3 hours regularly every day. So maybe all the way down to Jackson, Mississippi, over to Little Rock and up to Memphis is a normal span.
Wow, people come far and wide for great service.
Yeah,
Excellent.
and we love it. We love it. And a lot of people too, maybe if they've been here and they moved out of the area, every time they stop through, they stop in and visit us, and it's great. Everybody knows where we are, and we love that.
That is just awesome, Kimberly.
Mhm.
So Adam, again, for the benefit of our listeners, where are you located?
I am in sunny Southwest Florida in Naples. I've been back here for about 3.5 years. I was in Orlando for about 15 before that, Naples before that, and then New England before that. So moved around quite a bit, but I'm enjoying being back here.
So
right on the Gulf
again, let
Coast.
me ask you the same question. Tell me about your business philosophy and what's your mission statement?
So business philosophy, I always try to keep it pretty simple. Old school analogy, the 7 Ps. Prior preparation prevents piss poor performance positively. So most people don't plan to fail. They fail to plan. And it's a good old additive and a good old strategy that still rings true today. And that's from all aspects of the business, whether you're wearing the managerial hat, the salesperson, the installer, what have you. If you don't have a plan or strategy for moving forward and moving your brand and yourself forward, you're not going to go anywhere. You're just going to stay stagnant. So, and our mission statement is really to deliver, just like Kimberly, a world-class customer service from the door to the drive. So the second they walk through our door, the greeting, stop whatever you're doing. Within 30 seconds of them entering the door, they need to be greeted. And it's really just that concierge kind of boutique experience for every client, every time. I don't care if you drive an old 70s or 80s Tercel or a brand new McLaren. You know, the interaction is going to be absolutely the same. Every customer is treated at a high level and a high caliber, no matter what they drive, what their budget looks like. There's a solution for everybody. And just like Kimberly said, you know, it's not about ringing up and having that one nice ticket sale. It's about developing that relationship with your clientele to earn their trust in your brand and have repeat clientele for years to come than just that one big ticket. So being open and honest, and, you know, a client comes in for something absolutely ridiculous and you know, that's maybe something that really they want, but they aren't educated on what's out there. So that's where you got to be kind of their smart friend and lead them into something that maybe wasn't what they originally came in for, but now they know that, hey, I can save a little bit of money. I can get something better than what I thought I could get. And they're just floored by that. The open and honesty of it brings them back every time.
Thanks. Hey, you know, when you think about this past year, you know, when we think about 2020, everybody's got war stories. Everybody's got success stories. Kimberly, what was the biggest challenge you had to overcome in the past year as a business?
I think everybody had a lot of challenges this year, but if you consider all of the years adding up, the past 20 years, there's challenges every year. Every day we face different challenges. Some of them tend to just bring more people into the loop than others. So going into the year, one of the main things that was challenging for us was finding adequate inventory. Obviously, our customers are used to a certain level of inventory being available to them at all times and quality inventory. So that was one of the first things that we faced. But I think just like anything else, if you look at the half full, not half empty in every way you approach, there's some really great things that have come with those challenges. It's a great feeling when you can call on different relationships that you've built over many years, and those loyal, honest interactions that you've always have. When you come to a point like that, you can be there for each other. So I can't tell you how much my Mesa family has meant to me during this time, helping one another out with those elusive parts that are just the key factor in an awesome installation that you've got to have, things like that. And just all of our vendors, they're just that's how we choose the products that we support. Really, is it has a lot to do with their business ethic and the way we interact each day. So that's been challenging. And the other thing, obviously, is still an ongoing challenge, but that's really finding not just qualified employees, but honest employees. Just the whole workforce in general has had faced a shortage. I mean, I know there's more people than ever in our world, but apparently not as many want to come to work and, have a good job. So I was really fortunate enough, a little over a year ago, I found a great guy that has fit in well with us, young guy that we don't ever mind training. In fact, we kind of prefer that because we want people to follow our same level of standards and our same methods. And so we kind of prefer that. So I got really lucky. I would love to get lucky. At least have one more of each one of us would be an awesome way to do business. That would be great. If we could make that happen, I would be super happy. But we're constantly just, pursuing that, and an honor like, Retailer of the Year really helps aid in that, because everybody that has already been with us through all these years, I mean, it's just that factor of being a part of something like that makes them special. And that's how I treat everybody that works here. It's a little bit different than some of the businesses that are cut and dried, things are this way or they're that way or whatever. We have a lot more freedom being a smaller group of people. And I think that we really bond and care for one another a lot closer. And it makes it where you're a lot more willing to help one another. And I could go in, each person's job description or what have you, but they literally just overlap all the time. Like before I came in, jumped on the call, one of the freight trucks was delivering products. So I was out there checking out what he dropped off today, stuff like that. So I really think that that's a bonus and a benefit that we have in an ongoing challenge.
Yeah, awesome. I could listen to what you're talking about all day long. Yes. Maybe one of these days we'll do a longer interview just on one shop. I know that we're looking at doing, really, like I said, this is coming from the pages of Mobile Electronics. So we're really pulling from the articles that both of you did. Adam, looking at your business, what was your greatest challenge over the past year, and how did you overcome it?
Probably the same as everybody else, but my personal one, I would say, would be time management. Going from being a sole proprietor to now having an apprentice on board, and then obviously riding the crazy wave that's happened in our industry over the past year and a half. With the explosion and resurgence in mobile electronics just in general, time management has been difficult. From doing the sales aspect to managerial and ownership to coaching and developing and training my new installer and apprentice to trying to get we're booked out a couple months. We're into July. So just having the time to even get proposals done and estimates for the demand that we're getting, from walk-ins to phone calls to everything else, we're putting in a lot of 10 to 12 hour days. We're putting in days or hours prior to work, getting up early in the morning prior to coming into the shop to just get on the Mac at home and shoot out proposals or estimates, look through schematics, make sure we have all the adequate product. And then, as Kimberly said, inventory issues are a big compromise for that too. So you don't want to put together a proposal for a client and leave them with this expectation of something great that would really suit their vehicle or their needs, but then you reach out to your distributor and it's not going to be available for 6 months. Yeah. So there's a lot more that goes into the proposal process now, knowing that a lot of those solutions aren't available or as readily as available as they once were. And how you overcome that is how you're going to move your brand and your business going forward. So there's a lot of stuff that we ended up purchasing off of Amazon or eBay, a wiring harness here, an antenna adapter there, whatever it takes to get the client in the door and actually complete the sale. You may not be making the margin on some small install accessories, but wave that aside to be able to complete the solution, and the experience for the customer is tenfold. And they'll remember that,
Yeah. So, Adam, tell me what becoming Retailer of the Year meant for your store and for you personally.
It once again was kind of a life-changing experience, and then it validated everything that I know, or that I thought I knew I was doing was correct. It substantiated that I'm on the correct path and continue to be on the correct path to continue to build my brand and my business the way that not only I see fit, but I think that the industry and the culture should be. So to collectively get all my peers behind me and say that, you know, to have that validation was second to none. And we utilize our industry awards, our certifications, our education, our knowledge bases, our workshops, all as credentials to help build that brand loyalty with our clients, to the point where we've built amazing sound room and display in our small facility here, and 9 times out of 10 our clients won't even ask for a sound demo. They'll just go with whatever we tell them to get. We have this great art of the demo set up, but they'll just ask me, you know, what should I put in there? And if I tell them this, and this based on these reasons, they take it at face value and they take our word, because hanging up behind us are all of our accolades, awards. We've got our brag wall per se. And for folks that say that, you know, it doesn't help close sales, you may not use it as a closing sale, but you use it as something to build confidence in you and your brand and where they're at, that they've made the right decision.
And Adam, what advice would you give to someone looking to achieve Retailer of the Year for the class of 2021?
That you have to have a plan in place. So 3 years ago, or 3.5 years ago, before I opened Devine Concepts, I made it a goal, albeit with COVID, it kind of crushed it a little bit. I said, within 3 years, I'm going to be up on that MEA stage, and I'm going to be accepting an award, whether it's for retailer, installer, something. I'm getting up there. You know, I want my name highlighted. I want to be up there, and you have to make that a focus, and you have to be hungry for it. And if you're not hungry and passionate and want to get out there and do it, you know, I talked with Matt Schaefer, and I was on with him and Gary, and he made an excellent point about the videos. You know, it takes a lot of time for Retailer of the Year to put together a presentation, your video, and you know, the caveat is some people may not be good at video editing, but if you want to be there, then you're going to learn that. You're going to learn Adobe Premiere. You're going to learn which video editing software works for you, because nobody can display your brand better than yourself. Yep. You know, you could hire a production company to try and help you out, but you're going to spoon feed them everything that they need to do. And the time that you're doing that and the expense that you're doing that, you might as well have just learned the software and done it yourself.
Well, and you learn a new and very important skill, which is one of the reasons we changed it to video submissions, how to market yourself and how to market your business, how to build videos. All these things were built into that. So Adam, I thank you for that. I'm going to finish up here with Kimberly with the same 2 questions. Tell me about what becoming Retailer of the Year meant for your store and for you personally.
Well, when I sat down and did this video submission that we're all talking about, collecting everything together, when you look at what you spend your days doing, what you've spent your career doing, and put it all in one place at one time, it can get, I mean, it's really overwhelming. You know, it made me very proud of everybody on our team, what everybody does day in and day out, just to, you know, to be here for the advancement of our industry, period. I try to always make time to sit down and talk to other people in our industry, no matter what it is about, because I think that's the key, all of us sharing our experiences and learning from one another. Because what I have going on down here in the Delta of Greenville, Mississippi is obviously totally different than maybe someone in New York City or something like that. But you'd be surprised what kinds of things that we can interact with each other on that people can really relate to. I figured I'd have a question about different people that influence you and stuff in the industry. And so when I started thinking about that, I was like, wow, these people that come to mind to me are very, very different than me or the way I, run my store or run my business. But I've taken a topic from each one of them and used it and molded it to what works for our employee base or our customer base or the market that we're in. And if you could do that, if you can successfully kind of choose what's appropriate for you and not try to carbon copy somebody else, that's what's going to make you unique and genuine and make you retailer of the year material, really. The uniqueness of each of us is really impressive. And sometimes, I feel like, gosh, we're not like that many other people in the industry. And so you begin to think, oh, wow, but it's really a good thing. If you think about it, it's a good thing because we're all approaching things in a different way and in a way that works for us. And so I think that's important. Anybody that is moving forward with that, like Adam said, learning to do new things, staying uncomfortable, doing this for 20 years, making a living has never been about making a video for me. You know what I mean? It just hasn't. And so being uncomfortable with that, I know Adam knows my son, Dalton. Dalton decided he was going to show me a little bit about iMovie, and he got so mad at me because I kept saying, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And really, when you sit down and you do something, not only do you take more pride in it, it really shows through exactly what you want to show, exactly who you are, and not like something that someone else made up about you or the way that they see you. So having that uniqueness and that genuineness is key. And having your plan of action. Yeah. You can't be unique if you don't have any plans about it, if you just wake up and show up in the morning.
Well, it sounds like you're already starting to give some advice. So what advice would you give to others looking to achieve Retailer of the Year?
Yeah, definitely that. Zeroing in on your niche is important. There's a lot of businesses out there that just try to do everything, and it's not in their wheelhouse. So if it's not in your wheelhouse, you're not going to be the best at it. Sticking with your niche, what your roots are really good. A lot of people come into this industry either maybe it was a hobby, maybe they worked for another shop, they had a part-time job and it grew into, to something else or whatever, but you've got to have that focus. My focus is a little bit different really than anyone I've ever met in the industry because I'm like a mixture or a blend of so many different things. There are some owners that are completely hands-off, don't have anyone to do the business. They're fortunate enough to have maybe a manager that they trust. I'm not that person. I'm here every day. I'm a part of everything. I trust everybody that works here with me, but I love being a part of it. And I think I can make better decisions knowing what's going on, in my store. But on the other side of things too, just planning everything out. Your plans are going to change no matter what life is going to throw at you. You're going to have to change your plans, but really making it important to you to focus on that every day. One thing that I do regularly when I come to work, I don't come in the back door. I come through the front door like a customer does. So when I walk in, I'm thinking, this is exactly what people see when they come into our business. How does it smell? How does it look? What's the environment? Because believe it or not, people purchase a lot more on emotion, especially about music. The emotion that you can evoke, the type of music you're playing in your store, the environment that you're providing for people, it's very important. It's all key. It doesn't always come down to the cash register sales. Like Adam said, when you can provide that experience, they're going to remember it and they're going to want to come back.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, I thank you both for taking the time. Kimberly Trainer, cartoons, Adam Devine, Devine Concepts. I wonder where you got that name. I appreciate both of you sharing with the industry on what it meant to you, how your businesses are doing, where you came from, And I know where you're going. You're both successful. You'll continue to grow, and you'll continue to influence others in the industry. And I appreciate the uniqueness of both of you as retailers and as human beings in the mobile electronics industry. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. And I wish you the best in the future.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Our top installer is Justin Kush, Mobile Toys Incorporated, College Station, Texas.
Hey, it's Justin Kush from Mobile Toys Inc. out of College Station, Texas. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Hey, and for our final interview, I'm really excited to talk to Mr. Justin Kush, the 2020 Installer of the Year. You know, Justin's excitement, many of you might have seen that on Facebook, the recording of when he won the award, really epitomizes the feeling that many get when their name's called out. This year, very different, because most were either in their bathrobe or their pajamas watching, while I had to wear a suit. But, you know, this year was unique. I'm looking forward to 2021 when we can all be together in Dallas and having awards like we all want to, together in person. So I'd like to talk today and learn a little bit about what it took Justin to become the Installer of the Year for 2020.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, how you doing, Justin? So,
I'm doing
you know,
all right.
I would ask the question, how does it feel to be the top installer in the industry?
Feels pretty good, man. Like it's a huge achievement for me. I've never really been a heavy goal-oriented type person, and this is one that I actually set for myself and didn't stop until I got it. So it's pretty cool, man. Like, you know, you got a lot more eyes on you, and you know, nitpicking your pictures or your videos or whatever, and you know, a lot more guys come up to you and say, "Hey, you know, I'm this person, and really nice to meet you. I look up to you," and it's definitely almost feels like kind of like being a B-list celebrity.
B-list, well, A-list for our industry, B-list everywhere else.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So, yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself. How many years of experience do you have, and how long have you been at your current location?
I've been installing for 14, going on 15 years now. I've been at MTI for roughly a year and a half. Yeah, so that's basically it. I mean, I started off at Car Toys and moved on from there to other various shops, trying to just further myself, and went to a little mom and pop shop called Epic Customs. And the cool thing about that place is the only person that I had to limit what I could do was myself. I didn't have to. It wasn't a turn and burn type shop, so I could really experiment about like with my skill levels and stuff like that. Yeah. And that's when I discovered Matt Schaefer's work, and I was like, dude, like that's what I want to do. So then it was, you know, full dive into everything I could learn about fabrication and car audio, and kind of took off from there.
So MTI Acoustics, or as I kind of know it, Mobile Toys Incorporated. Where are you located?
We're in College Station, Texas right now.
Oh, right in the heart of it, right in the heart of Texas.
Yep, it's kind of cool.
Fairly easy for you to catch a flight to Dallas.
Yes. Yep, I'll be able to drive. It's about 2.5 hours north.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing you in person. So you know what? How do you feel was as I said at the beginning, was really epitomized in that video. And I'm glad somebody captured you on video getting the award.
So it was me.
Oh, you yeah, okay, awesome.
So yeah, because my wife had to work that night, and I don't know anybody else here. All my family's back home in Washington. So I thought it was like cool that I should just Facebook Live it. It's the first time I ever Facebook Live anything. I'll just Facebook Live it, and my family can see it. My friends can see it back home. And if I win, then they get to see my, you know, first initial reaction. So that's why I went about and set that up and just did it. I had no idea. I didn't think I was going to win at all. So,
wow. So that was that was the video. You took your own video, and I'm so glad you shared. I'm so glad you shared that with the industry. I mean, I tell you, of all the ones that I saw going out, I saw, guys in the shops and at different things, because, for me, I was in a dark room with lights listening to somebody in my ear tell me what to do next.
Right.
So it was very, very mechanical as opposed to what we normally have with the interaction with everybody there. So, I'm glad you were able to express emotions and share it with us. So when you look at, installation in general, fabrication, technician, what's your specialty? I am known for, what's your specialty?
Well, I really love fabrication. So I would say my specialty is that. I've been an artist pretty much all my life. So being able to take, my drawings and turn them into a physical, tangible item is really fun to me. So I enjoy that side of it where, car audio or doing alarms and stuff is a lot of people can do it, but not a lot of people can do what I can do.
So when you talk about fabrication, for some that may be listening, I know it's hard to believe that don't know what they mean by fabrication. What is it that you do? I mean, are you creating a new car?
I do. Right now I work in the interior department. So basically, I can build full interiors with audio systems. So I kind of blend the two of the interior work and high end car audio. So what I do is I'll either take, a show truck that is, wild and make some door panels that go along with it and then adding extra speakers to that. Or you'll get a hot rod that wants it to look, a modern factory upgrade. So then you tone down the wild side of it and make it look like it was factory.
Yeah, but better than OEM, if you will.
Oh yeah, built with plastics and magnets and all that stuff, as opposed to wood and whatever cars are made out of back then.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, back then. Okay, back when I learned to drive. Got it.
Yeah.
So pretty much the same thing, just heavier.
Yeah.
So when you think about installation, you say fabrication, you're making it look really good, but not only do you have to make it look good, you have to make it sound good. So, kind of describe your installation philosophy as it relates to how to make a car sound better than it was when you first took it over.
You really have to think about every aspect of it, and even the small stuff counts. It's kind of like, horsepower of a car. If you can add 1 or 2 horsepower there, eventually you'll have, 30 more. So anything you can do to make it better, we do it. We'll sound deaden every inch of a door panel that we can. I'll make gaskets that if the speaker doesn't come with them, we'll make them so that it seals up to the door nicely. We'll use the foam that meets up to the door panel, and just every little inch to make it sound that much better, we do it, and I do it. So, and then my kind of philosophy on that is, is also make it as perfect as possible, especially now with everybody who, watching what I do, just strive for perfection, and it'll show in your work of how much better something could possibly be.
So overall, when you think about your career, tell me about some other professionals that had positive influences on you.
Oh, man. So first is Matt Schaefer. He's the guy who kind of turned my install career around, where I was, a good tech, but was lacking the motivation to further myself, I would say. And then kind of popped up, his stuff popped up on my Instagram, and I was blown away. So then I just started following people that he was following, and then that's when Tom Miller came up, Brian Schmidt, and Chris Pate and Gary Bell, and all those guys. Those guys are the main guys of how to do it. If you're going to follow anybody on how to do something, you follow those guys. And so that's kind of where it took off for me, is really Matt Schaefer's. And then I just trying to be the best that I can, and live up to my expectations of, or what do you want to call it? Living up to what I'm supposed to be. You know what I mean? The upper echelon of install techs. So
yeah, I've been privileged to meet and work with at times some of these top installers across the country, and one thing seems to be a common theme with all of them: very humble. And I appreciate that about you and others. I remember when Matt Schaefer got runner-up of the year, and he spent that next year doing everything he could to make sure that he finished with installer of the year. That pushing yourself beyond yourself is amazing, and I see that in some of your installations that I view on Instagram and other places.
Right. When I design stuff now, even now, I just finished a Lamborghini not too long ago, and I designed in my concept drawings to be something that I didn't know if I could build it. And I'm just even though I'm the installer of the year doesn't mean that I'm still not trying to be better. So it's I'm constantly trying to grow, because otherwise I just get bored and want to do something different. And
frankly, that's what makes an installer of the year. Is what makes a top installer, always pushing yourself. Yeah. So when you're always pushing yourself, I assume you work with other people. How many employees do you? How many others on your team?
So in the department that I work in, I work with David Cruz and Chris Pate and Brian Perez, and those are the three guys that I talk back and forth with, kick ideas around. And I'll tell you what, man, David Cruz is a hell of a builder, and he's helped me out in some tight pinches of not knowing how to do something. And I can't say enough about that guy.
Yeah, pretty amazing. So if I was to pick up the phone and call them or bring them in on the interview and said, how would they describe you? How do you think they describe you?
Oh man, that's a hard question.
It is.
I don't know. I'm pretty easygoing. I like to build stuff. Hard worker. Easy to work with. I don't know. I'm what's the word I'm looking for here? Creative. That's the word. Pretty creative. I try to look at different ways and not build something that somebody else has already built or the exact same way, and try to, I don't know, always trying to grow. Try to be a sponge. And I watch those guys. Like, they probably say I'm like a stalker, because I'll be walking by and just side eyeing. I'm like, what are you guys doing? And just trying to pick up little things of how they do stuff without bothering them all the time. So
that's a pretty awesome crew to be looking over the shoulder of. So
yeah, as far as I know, we're the only place that has 3 install of the years currently working at the same place.
Yep. So now you got to push number 4.
Yeah, I know. I got to work Brian Perez into it.
Yeah, there you go. Brian, that's up to you. So, thinking back over the past year, we've all had some pretty tough challenges. Would you like to share with us what your greatest challenge was, whether it's personal or professional, and how you overcame it?
So the hardest thing for me was moving out here. My original born and raised is Washington, place called Tacoma, an hour south of Seattle. So all of my friends I've known for 20 plus years, all my family's out there. And then just to uproot and move my entire family down to this place kind of on I guess a whim, was pretty rough. My wife has an identical twin sister. And so that's like, impossible to separate those two. They go visit each other, every other month or so. But it can get pretty lonely, man. Like, especially when Corona hit, you can't go out and do anything. You can't explore this new place. You're just kind of stuck going to work and then coming home and going to work. So, I know a lot of other people have had worse times with this whole virus thing, but this has kind of been mine, is that, haven't had much to do other than go to work, and I miss my family, I miss my friends, so
yeah, it's been tough for all of us, and throwing yourself into your work, you learn more, but missing the family is a tough thing, and I know all of us have had to face that this year. So sure. When you think about your customers, we've had less interaction with customers, but you're building something for somebody to take home, regardless of whether it's a professional show car or average customer coming through the door.
Yep.
What do you want your customers to remember about the installation aspect of your service?
I really like to see, like when we deliver a car, I really like to see their reaction, their first impressions of it and everything. And I really hope that they remember how they felt the first time that they saw the work that I gave them. I know Chris likes to send them lots of pictures, progress that goes on it. I personally kind of to stop that towards the end, and then so that anticipation is there. But sometimes that it hasn't backfired on me yet, but I could see how it could.
Yeah, you're looking for a move that bus moment. He wants to show him everything that's going on. I get it.
Yep.
I get it. So how does your performance influence your team and your store's culture? You got a pretty awesome team you work with. So that's
I would say, I mean, even the guys that I'm around are, I think Cruz and Pate are better than me, honestly. So to have them be inspired by me is honestly a big deal.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like they look at my creative side and, are kind of inspired and want to maybe, draw something a little bit more or push, the creative aspect of it, as opposed to just doing the same run of the mill stuff that you see a lot of other guys doing. With Brian, just coming on into the shop, I've kind of took him under my wing a little bit and kind of shown him how the MTI crew does things, and, showing him little tricks here and there to, elevate himself as well. So, it's just one of those deals that, if I don't know, it's hard to explain, man. You just got to hope that you're inspiring and that, just keep being yourself, and hopefully somebody will like something about it. And,
yeah, it's going to feel pretty good if Pate or Cruz comes up and says, "Hey, how would you do this?"
Yeah.
Exactly. Would be a good moment. It'd be a good moment.
And there's certain programs and stuff that I know a little bit better than the other guys, and they'll come up to me and ask me for that. So I help out when I can. I'm always willing to help. If they need something lifted up, I'll do it. If I need to hold this wire while they run it somewhere, I'll do that. It doesn't matter to me. As long as I can be there to help everybody out.
Who's glassing it and who's sanding it? Those are the two I always want to know.
Yeah,
my two least favorite things to do.
Mine's alarms. I hate those so much.
God, I can understand that. I hope you had a lift for that Lamborghini.
No, I did all of it on the ground, and it was backbreaking.
Yeah,
I had to go to a chiropractor for a week after it.
Yeah, never liked those exotics. Always too low to the ground. So as we wrap it up, I'd like to get you talk to the camera, talk to the audience, talk to those that want to achieve what you achieved. What advice would you give someone looking to achieve the Installer of the Year award?
So you kind of got to look at it as just representing yourself. When you decide you want to do a video or pictures or whatever, or for the Install of the Year, take as many pictures as you possibly can, as many video clips as you possibly can. Even the tricky stuff, you can all edit that out later. But you just you have to want it. You have to push for it and take the time to learn the programs to get it done. When you answer the questions that they give you, answer them to their fullest extent. Don't go out there and try to be funny, because you got to understand that these guys watch a couple hundred videos on the first round, and then the second round, they're watching 2-hour long videos, so they don't really want to sit around and at one point they're just going to be bored and let's get to the point. So
yeah, I like to say just the facts, ma'am.
Yep. And you can't be judged on stuff that you don't present.
Yeah.
So and give it everything you got. That's literally it. Don't just say, "Oh, that's good enough," and then ship it. It's give everything 100% on it, 110%, whatever you want to call it. Give everything you got, because you never know. I didn't think I was going to win, and I still gave it hell, and turns out that it was good enough. And I was probably 90% happy with my final product, but I worked up to the very last minute, put about 60 hours into it. It's a lot of work, and you got to understand that. So, but if you want it bad enough, you'll do it.
Awesome. Very good advice. Justin, 2020 Mobile Electronics Installer of the Year. I thank you for coming on and spending some time chatting with me. And I wish you the best for you and your team for the future, and hope to see you at a Knowledge Fest soon.
Yep, I will be there. Hey, just so real quick, I started my own T-shirt brand.
Oh, wait a minute.
1728.
Yeah, hey, I was gonna ask you about that. I apologize. Yeah. I didn't have that, but 1728. Now I seem to know that as a measurement.
Yeah, well, so it is the magic number that you would use to convert airspace into a foot. So, 17.com, and that's basically it's installer gear, fabrication gear, music lover. I mean, I kind of cater to everybody, and I just draw up some designs, and then I have somebody else make them and ship them off to you. So check it out. That's
awesome. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
You have some spare time. I get it.
No, I don't have spare time. I just make time.
That's a very good piece of advice.
Yep.
Thanks so much, Justin.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. That wraps it up for our very first Mobile Electronics Show. Big thanks to all our guests. Mike Rundel, 2020 Sales Rep of the Year. Jason Kranitz, 2020 Salesperson of the Year. Adam Devine from Devine Trainer. Cartoons, our 2020 Retailers of the Year. And Justin Kush of MTI Acoustics, our 2020 Installer of the Year. And a very special thank you to Sony for sponsoring the first ever Mobile Electronics Show. We look forward to seeing everyone at Knowledge Fest Orlando coming up this June 25th through 27th. And look for an announcement to tune into our next Mobile Electronics Show, coming to you from the pages of Mobile Electronics Magazine, the Mobile Electronics Show. I'm your host, Chris Cook, and we'll see you next time.